What I really wanted to do was write a real woman who wasn't necessarily likable, in the sense that so many of my favorite characters are men who aren't necessarily likable either. I think of characters like Tony Soprano and Don Draper and Gordon Gekko, and I root for those guys even though their behavior is despicable. And I think the interesting thing is people have a harder time giving a woman a pass. Could I still get the reader to care about her when you turn the final page? The first seeds of Ani were planted when I got engaged 3 years ago. I felt very successful in many areas of my life. I was a senior editor at Cosmopolitan, and I felt like I'd made it in New York City, but I felt something was missing because I wasn't engaged, and I felt an enormous pressure to get engaged. And I was curious about that dynamic of a woman who has made it in other aspects of her life, but still feels as though she's less than. Her life on the surface seems perfect, but what you come to find out is that this is all a construction, that there's much more going on underneath the surface than Ani lets most people realize. I do think Ani is a result of the pressures that women face in this world. I think she's a cautionary tale in a way, you know, what happens when you're motivated by the desires you're trained to want instead of the things you really do want out of your own life. I always knew what the last line of this book was. I knew what the big twist would be, and people have described it as shocking, and I think that's a very appropriate way to describe it. But it really takes until that last line in the book for all the pieces to fall into place.